Hey everybody, and welcome to Skills on Sunday for July 12th, 2020. I'm your host, DM Gallibond. Alright, today on Skills on Sunday, we are going to be taking a look at the heavily armored feat. And this is a feat that has its roots in 3rd edition. We're going to be looking at that and how it changed in 4th edition and what it's like now in 5th edition. And of course, as always, we will start with the 5th edition version. Alright, heavily armored, you have to be proficient with medium armor already, and you've trained to master the use of heavy armor, and you gain the following benefits. Your strength score goes up by 1 to a maximum of 20, and you gain proficiency with heavy armor. Okay, it sounds pretty circular when you say you have heavy armor proficiency, that you gain proficiency with heavy armor. So what exactly does that mean? Well, we have to go to the basic rules and look at what armor proficiency means. So this means that only those proficient in the armor's use know how to wear it effectively. Each class gives a character proficiency with certain types of armor. In some cases, that is proficiency with no armor. And if you wear armor that you lack proficiency with, you have disadvantage on any ability checks, saving throws, or attack rolls that involve strength or dexterity. Newsflash, just about every attack in the game, except for spell attacks, involves strength or dexterity. And you cannot cast spells. So if you're not proficient with the armor, and you're a spellcaster, well, you can't cast any spells. And you also have have disadvantage on those ability checks, saving throws, and attack rolls. So that's kind of a really handicaps you if you don't have the right proficiency. And a lot of the martial classes, your paladins and your fighters, will get heavy armor off the bat right away. There are some classes that get proficiency with medium armor, like I believe rangers and bards maybe get proficiency with medium armor, and then there's a number of classes that get proficiency with light armor, like rogues. They get proficiency with light armor, but and clerics usually get medium armor, except for war clerics. They get heavy armor right off the bat. And then there are some, like wizards and sorcerers and monks, that get proficiency with no armor at all to begin with. So if you want heavily armor, you would have to spend a feat to get light armor, a feat to get medium armor, and then a feat to get heavy armor. So you'd have to spend 3 feats. And since most people only have 2 feet, that would leave you 2 feet, or that would leave you a foot short. Ha 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 ha. Okay, all right, that was a bad joke. All right, let's take a look at 3rd edition. 3rd edition armor proficiency, heavy. This is where it originally came from. You're proficient with heavy armor, and it requires proficiency with both light and medium armor before you can have heavy armor. Except for fighters and paladins and clerics, who automatically get heavy armor proficiency as a bonus feat at level 1. So then what are the benefits in 3rd edition? Very, very similar to 5th edition. When you wear a type of armor with which you are proficient, every piece of armor in 3rd edition has an armor check penalty. That's just off the bat. They all get that penalty. So some of them are like -2, some are -4. I think like plate armor might even be like -6 or something. It's a pretty stiff penalty. When you wear a type of armor with which you are proficient, the armor check penalty for that armor only applies for balance, climb, escape artist, hide, jump, move silently, sleight of hand, and tumble checks. Wow. You can eliminate everything else, but only those 8 things you still get a penalty for. And why those 8 things? Well, there's a whole lot more skills in 3rd edition than there are in 5th edition. And in 3rd edition, um, they broke down everything into different things, different types of strength or dexterity or stealth types of things. So stuff like balancing and climbing, that uses partially your strength, partly your agility. And when you have heavy armor on, or any kind of armor, and of course that's weighing you down and making it harder for you to do those things. So that's why they give you a check penalty on those. And then if you're trying to be stealthy and you're wearing plate armor that's going clank, 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 makes it harder to be stealthy. So all that kind of stuff. A character who's wearing armor with which she is not proficient applies the armor check penalty on attack rolls and all strength-based or dexterity-based ability and skill checks. So the if you don't have that armor, everything um, everything becomes a everything gets a penalty. And so then, of course, there's the medium armor and the light armor and the heavy armor as well. In 4th edition, they went a little bit of a different way. They decided that you needed to have a specific proficiency as a feat for every type of armor in the game. So you had to have a feat for leather, a feat for hide, a feat for scale, a feat for chainmail, and a feat for plate. And that just depends on what you were going to wear. Now, of course, um, most of them, like the leather and the hide. Well, okay, so the leather is the only one that doesn't have a prerequisite. If you want hide, you have to have the strength, the constitution, and training with leather armor. If you want to have the chainmail, you have to have strength, the constitution, training with leather or hide. If you want scale, you have to have the strength, the constitution, and training with chainmail. And then if you want to have plate, you have to have a strength, a constitution, and training with scale armor. So they do require those building blocks. So now, once again, there's going to be certain classes like a paladin that's probably going to have the plate armor proficiency right off the bat at level 1. So you're not going to need to go through all those other steps of building that up. So it's not as daunting as it seems. But if you are somebody like, let's say, if you were going to roll a wizard and you wanted your wizard to be able to use plate armor, you would have to go up through the entire chain of every armor type before you could give them plate armor. So it would be a number of levels before they could get there. They couldn't just have it right off the bat. Okay, well, that is going to do it for our discussion of heavily armored today. If you like what we're doing here on this channel, we'd love it if you could subscribe down below. Click that post notification bell. That will let you know every time we drop a new video on the channel. Try to get content up here 7 days a week, in addition to having these rather short videos about a different aspect of the game. We also are putting up our archive of the actual play sessions that we have, so you can go back and watch those. You can find those on my Twitch channel. If you look in the description of this video, you'll find all the links to where you can follow me everywhere. And the different platforms that I am on. And if you have any comments about maybe a character that didn't start with heavy armor, that you wanted to have heavy armor, what did you have to do? How long did it take you to build up to that? Did you find after you got it that it was working the way you had hoped, or did you find that it felt like it was a big waste of time once you got there? I really would be curious to see what people are thinking, what people would think about that. All right, everybody, take care. We'll talk to you later. We'll hope to see you back here for Skills on Sunday next week. and hope you will browse the channel and watch a few of the other videos we have on other aspects of the game. Take care, everyone. Talk to you later. Good night, everybody. And oh, whoops. Good night, everybody.